Oh, what is going on, you dead set legends? You have screamed for this guest to come on the show. You have begged the Aussie Armwrestler to get this guest on the show. Well, look no further. You don't have to double check your phone. It is happening. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Ready Bang, the #1 arm wrestling live stream show in the world. I'm your host, the Aussie Armwrestler. And my guest has won plenty of awards, but never has come close to the 2019 Melbourne Cup left arm 89.5 kilo third place amateur. The most sought after trophy in the arm wrestling world. I mean, what do we say here? Let's introduce our guest. We finally got her on. And fun fact, before the show, I was told she'd been avoiding me, which was a very nice little interesting thing, but we'll get to that a little bit later on. 11-time national champion, 8-time European champion, 8-time world champion. There's one world championship I am very, very interested to talk about because she did it with one arm. One arm in a sling, one arm pinning everybody. It was ridiculous. And for some reason, she won the 2012 Achievement of the Year, which we might get into a little bit later on. But ladies and gentlemen, she is here. And just for the record, it is pronounced Oliva. But you know her as Sarah Backman. Sarah, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. And I'm very impressed that you know my last name. Everybody gets it wrong. Everybody.
Yeah, we are very, very lazy when it comes to reading. So I'll get to everyone in the chat in a moment. So please give a ready bang to Sarah, and we'll get to you guys in a moment. One of my favorite things about your last name was King of the Table, which we'll have a chat about. And your husband was losing his shit on social media.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's even in his Facebook profile, he changed it, and he's giving everyone the phonetic way to pronounce it. Oliva.
Like with this emoji too, like the Italian emoji. Yeah. Oliva.
How frustrating is it? Because I have a very basic name. It's Jake Ward or
Easy.
Aussie Armwrestler. Very basic. It's almost impossible to get wrong. How frustrating was it at King of the Table, or if you've been, because you're very, very busy with everything's going on, and they're just getting your name wrong?
It's unreal. Like with the name Oliva, I don't know what it is, but I'm telling you, like you're like maybe the third or fourth person in 2 years that got it right. And like, yeah, I'm dead serious. Like everybody says Olivia or Oliva. And it's
which
like,
one's worse? Which one's worse?
I think Oliva is probably worse than Olivia, but yeah, I'm always impressed when people get it right, because it's like it's not that hard to just read.
It's like 5 letters, like Oliva. It's like, come on, guys. Because I was like, when I was listening to King of the Table, I was, and I'm like, nah, it's not Olivia. It's not Olivia. And then anyway, on social media, and then Mike is like, I'm going to kill everyone. This is how you pronounce it, you jackasses.
Yeah, and Mikey has heard of it for, 36 years. I'm only 2 years in, so yeah, he's so tired of it.
Well, let's say hi to everyone in the chat. My lovely wife, Mrs. Aussie Armwrestler, is in the chat. She says, bang. Brennan Waters is pretty happy. He says, ready, bang. What have we got? Benji Mack in the chat, which is good. Marco Finotto. I probably pronounced his last name wrong, Sarah. He says,
Marco Finotto is an old friend. I've known him for probably 10 years.
Oh, brilliant.
From Italy, yeah.
This is cool. Well, ciao to you, Marco. Apologies for butchering your last name. Joshy Boys in the house says, ready, bang. We've got it all. Ryan Bussier. I've got some good people in the chat. Spermies, asses, creamies, giving the old ready, bang. Ryan, the real deal's in the house. Man, everyone. So Ready Bang is basically everyone saying hello to Sarah.
Hello, everybody.
Everyone's very, very excited. Devon's Forearms in the chat. White Wolf's in the chat. Adam, that one guy. It's Rick Chains, bitch. He's in the house. It's Ready Bang, Aussie and Sarah. John the Savage Terrian. Just giving the old waves. Tim Talmadge in the house. Arm Sports Entertainment. Very successful tournament on the weekend. Dan John just being respectful. Whoa! Stop the shop. What's your dog's name?
Hugo.
Hugo.
Yeah.
Yes. We're dog lovers here. My dog Zeus. His name and paw print is tattooed on my leg.
Aww,
yes.
That's cool.
You've gone up a few points in the moment. All right. We'll quickly say hi to a few more people, guys, because you're sick of hearing me talking, and we want to know what is up with Sarah. Make sure I've said hi to everyone. Another Sarah in the house, Sarah Latona.
Hi, Sarah. Congratulations on a big win. Oh, my God. She did so good this past weekend.
A ridiculous win. It's I found her to be one of the rudest people on the day. You can't just turn up to someone's factory and flash pin them 3 times.
I know, right?
Let's host you and your husband. We'll get your husband a job. We'll get your husband a match as well. And then when Sarah jumped on the table, whack 3 times.
Yeah, but it was awesome though. She trained so hard for it, so so deserved.
Yeah, absolutely right. I think I've said if I have apologize if I've missed. A Kangaroo Jack says, "Say hello to me. It makes me feel important."
Hello, Kangaroo Jack.
That is awesome, and everyone's awesome in the chat. Ready, chitty chitty bang bang. Right, Sarah, give us an update. What has been going on?
Okay, so I went pretty much all in for my match at King of the Table with Gabby, and I took that loss pretty hard. So I was like, let's just take a little break from arm wrestling for now. So that's what I did. I didn't arm wrestle, or actually I pulled with the guys at the gym every week, actually, but nothing crazy. I didn't go all in for it or whatever, just to stay somewhat active. And it wasn't until a month or 2 ago, it was like starting to come back, the desire. But I found out, and I mean, you guys are not going to believe this. People that know, I tore my shoulder, right, 3 years ago, and I competed in a sling and whatnot, and I'm completely healed from that injury. I tore my subscapularis, which is the rotator cuff muscle that does the side pressure, right? So I tore that, had surgery, babied it, rehabbed, came back way stronger than I was before, so that's all good. But about a year ago, in December last year, I started to feel pain with my left arm when arm wrestling. I didn't get it checked out until a month ago or 3 weeks ago or whatever, and I got an MRI, and I tore my subscapularis on my left arm. No. I know, like I don't know when it happened. It must have happened a year ago because I haven't pulled with my left for 1 year. I have trained normal. I do pull-ups, I do the rope climbs, I do the bicep curls and whatnot. But as far as arm wrestling goes, I have not pulled with my left for 1 year. And so I'm going to have that same surgery again in January 27th. So I'm going to be in a sling for 3 months and rehab it. And it's going to take about a year to come back to full strength on my left. But I'm still gonna do it with my right arm. Like my right arm is stronger than ever. Like it's I haven't lost any strength at all from the Gabby match a year ago or 9 months ago. I still feel very solid with it, and I feel confident for my match with Heidi in August. So I'm just gonna keep it up.
We'll get to the Heidi match in a moment. There seems to be a fair bit going on. So when you're going for that left surgery, does the time in the sling, I hope there's another Zloty tour so you can just win So you can just win right arm.
Yeah,
So
right?
you've literally won 2 slotties with the sling. That would be amazing. Oh, I'd love that. Oh, I think
Yeah.
I would love that.
Yeah.
But speaking of, guys, if you haven't seen it, it's a very good moment in arm wrestling history. Sarah had her right arm in a sling and teared through everyone on the left arm. Did you get any backlash? Were people saying it was unfair? Were people questioning the sling, or it was nah? Okay, cool, let's go.
No, because there was no advantage for me. If anything, there was a huge disadvantage, not being able to, pull against with the peg and all that. So I never got any shit for it from anybody. And yeah, and I trained like that too for the longest time. I was on a sling for 3 months, and that's how I trained. So you get used to it. And actually, like with the core and everything, like you have to engage completely different. And I just think you get stronger from it, if you
Yeah.
change things up.
No, I think that's amazing. And you've even won a Zloty Tour from the B side. I think that win was just as incredible as winning with one arm. With all your world championships, I mean, you've won 8 of them, plus all your hammers and UALs and this. Is there one that just stands out where you go, yeah, that's the one that I really love?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's like a shared first place, I would say. It's the WAF WAF. I think that's the most prestigious event in the world. That's like where the best meet the best. And if you become a world champion in WAF, you are the one. So all of my wins there, I value so much. But also Slotty Tour back in 2010. I was only 18 years old, and I came back from the B side and beat Victoria Lushina twice in the final, and that was like my big breakthrough moment. That's when people started to like, who is this girl? Like, and that it really was like a boost for me too. Like I was on fire after that for 2 years or so. I felt like I won everything after that.
Yeah, you're unbeatable. Unbeatable. By 19, you had 6 world championships. It was just amazing. And my wife, like I said to you before the show started, loves your Christmas tree. Our house is fully decorated with it. It's the best time of the year, and a lot of people in the chat are loving your Christmas tree. And people are noticing that if I stay like this in the show, for once my arms look big. A lot of people are kind of, at first I was reading everyone like, Aussie.
I see it.
Yeah, everyone was like, Aussie, your arms look big. And I'm like, you all know I've had hip surgery and a daughter, and I've put on a bit of weight. And then when I kind of looked, you were talking, I was like, I get it now.
That's funny. That is funny. Oh my god.
Hey, there we go. I'd absolutely smash you now. Look at these. Look at these pipes. How big are the pipes now? How big are the arms?
My arms?
Yeah.
I'm staying at the same weight for almost 3 years now. It's 176, 180, about 80 kilo. They're not super big right now because I'm not doing a lot of volume or bodybuilding training. Like the past 2 months or so, it's just arm wrestling training. And you don't really get size when you just 1 to 5 reps heavy, static holds. It doesn't really grow. So I'm not like physically in the like best looking shape right now, but I feel strong, and that's something.
There you go. And actually, everyone in the chat, because Sarah and her husband own Pro Gear Gym, and if you head over to Pro Gear Gym and put in the promo code Ready Bang, you'll get a 0% discount. But just go over there and do it and help them out, because they're doing a great thing over there. As Sarah's got the jumper on. Show everyone the jumper, the Pro Gear Gym. Show everyone. Look at that.
Yep.
The Pro Gear Gym.
Gear. That's our brand.
Go and support them. So we're going to jump back and forth timeline and things like this.
Mm-hmm.
Why has there only been like one match per year in the last couple of years? So we had you're in the inaugural East versus West against Arena Draeva.
Mm-hmm.
Then there was King of the Table with Gabriella, and now in 2023 in August you're pulling Heidi Cordner. Is it schedule? Is it training? Is it passion for the sport?
Mm-hmm.
Why only once a year?
Yeah. Oh, what a question. Yeah, I wish it was more. Like, I'm so impressed with all the guys that, like Dave Chafee, Michael Todd, Devin Lair, like they just at every event. And same with Gabby. I'm like, holy shit, like you guys are everywhere all the time. For me, it's a little mix of everything. It's personal life. We're so busy running several businesses here in Florida. It takes a lot of time. Also, when I'm 100% into arm wrestling, I'm on fire. And that's usually like when you see me at events and I post more on social media and stuff. And then I get a little dip and it's not as fun. And maybe I'm hurting, like I'm not enjoying it as much. And from past experience, I don't push when I feel bad about it because it doesn't do good for me and my mental health. So I just let it be and I focus on other things in the meantime. But I have not stopped arm wrestling. Like a couple of years ago, I actually stopped arm wrestling altogether for 5 years. Before my big comeback in 2019, I didn't arm wrestle for 5 years. Like it was like I was a different person. Like I don't even know who I was then because arm wrestling is such a big part of my life. But this time around, at least I'm keeping it up. Like I have weekly practices and I stay strong. So whenever I do get an opportunity for a match, I'm somewhat ready, and then I just need to peak for like maybe 3 months. I need about 3 months to get ready. But yeah, that would be my reason. Plus, there's not that many girls. Like I did get after Gabby had her match with Egle, Engin reached out to me and asked if I wanted a match with Egle. And my history with Egle is I have never beat her. I have never beaten her. She's a monster, as Gabby is too. And at the time, after my loss against Gabby, I wasn't ready mentally or physically. And I know that if I'm not in it 100%, there's no point. But like now, it's hard to say with my surgery and all that with my left, but I can see me pull Egle next year if I get the opportunity. If I get the request, we'll see what happens. Like how it goes with the surgery. If I'm able to train the way I want to, still with my right arm. But if Egle would want to pull next year, I could see that happening, and I definitely would want to rematch with Gabby at some point in the future.
That's what we want to hear. That's what we want to hear. Oh, that is, everyone clip that, share it around the bloody world. We'll get the King of the Table in a moment. Oh, look, I think the whole, the social media game and everything, you just beyond popular, but it can take its toll because I'll be like fantasy booking matches and I'm like, oh, I want to see Dave pull this guy and Hermes pull this guy, rah, rah. And then when a promotion, just like the other day, when Magna's like, oh, yeah, Sarah's pulling. I'm like, oh, Sarah's back. Shit, forgot to book her in all my matches. Oh, crap. Then I'm like, cool, Sarah's back on the table because it was one of the, at King of the Table, was one of the most divided matches. It was almost arguing like the Devon versus Levan matchup. Like, I just remember joining in all the chats and everything, and it's like, who do you think's going to win? It's like, oh, I think Sarah's going to win. It's like, oh, but Gabby's 30 plus time world champion. Oh, you're crazy. Who do you think's going to win? Gabby. Oh, Sarah Backman's the strongest arm wrestler on the planet. She's bicepping curled cars and things like that. So it was really interesting, the divide and everything. It was a healthy divide, which was good. But everyone's up and about. 44% stronger says yes. Sarah versus Eglay would be fantastic. I mean, just a nice little warm up in April. Sarah versus Eglay, and then maybe September we'll go the big rematch, and we'll have that match in Melbourne, Australia, because I'm too lazy to get on a plane. So that would be good. I would absolutely love it. 2015, you ended up in my hometown in Australia. I mean, you've been in almost every single country in the world. It's probably easier for you to list less countries than the countries you haven't been to. You've been a very busy person. What was your Australian tour like in 2015?
I actually never went to Australia.
You never went? You never? No. I saw a poster, but then I couldn't find any footage. And then I was like, no. Why can't I find any footage?
It was scheduled. So what happened was that was around the time when I moved from Sweden to Florida. Yep. And I booked the tour. And then my immigration lawyer and with everything, they said that you're not allowed to leave the country for 2 years. I was not allowed to leave due to immigration and whatnot. So I had to cancel it, unfortunately.
Because I was like, when I saw the post, I was like, Sarah came to Australia. All right. And I was trying to look up footage because I find that the Ron Barth, the John Brzezinski, the Devons, when they came to Australia, and like Sarah Backman Australia, I'm like, I can't find any. Well, you know what? I'll just throw it out there. And as Swisher Sweet says, massive fail on my behalf. Dan John's having a bit of a laugh. But I got the best people in my chat. We all have lots of fun. But that is okay. Well, one thing that did happen, Sarah went to Tokyo and pulled 6 dudes.
Yeah, I loved
what was that about?
That was such a cool experience. I was there. I was in Japan 5 times doing that, pulling different guys, and they were all like Japanese celebrities, anywhere from singers, actors, TV profiles, whatever. I mean, we don't know that, but it was huge when I was there and had so much fun. And like, I love Japan, and like, they are so nice and take such good care of you. And yeah, that was like one of my best ever experiences for sure.
It was there's something just about Japanese TV, just watching it and it's all in your face, and like people are pretending to fall over after you've pinned them and things like that. It was hilarious. It was anytime I see someone go to Japan, I'm always keen to see the footage, which is good. Before we get into some arm wrestling, back into some arm wrestling, I'm just going to throw a couple of names at you and just see if they ring a bell. One is Shara, and the other is Spirit. Do those 2 names ring a bell, Sarah? By
a little bit.
We have something in common. You're not going to believe it, Sarah, but I have done a lot of pro wrestling.
Really?
I used to do it around here in Australia. You did it on a much bigger stage than me, but yes, my wrestling name was Jermaine Boom. I did it for about 4 years. I don't know if you ever met Matt Silver or Buddy Murphy whilst you're over.
Yeah, I trained with
he's
him.
my mate.
Yeah. Oh wow.
Yeah,
okay.
he before he took it very seriously. I would like go on the shows with him, and he lives like used to live a town over.
Wow.
Yeah, he's Matt's my friend.
What a small world. Yeah, I trained with them at the NXT Performance Center.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had my honeymoon at WrestleMania 34. Like
wow.
Yeah,
very
so
cool.
I really love wrestling. So for those that don't know, Sarah had an NXT developmental contract.
Mm-hmm.
What made you want to go into that world?
No, okay. So the story is that I lived in Sweden, but I was a little tired of Sweden. I had just won the Slotty Tour for the 6th time and my World Championship for the 8th time. And I was like, I need a break. So I bought a one-way ticket to California. And I was like, I'm going to stay here for 3 months and just train and enjoy myself. So that's what I did. And I trained at the Gold's Gym.
Yep.
Over there in Venice. And during my first week there, I don't know, some of you may know Chris Bell. He made the documentary Bigger, Stronger, Faster about steroids and training and whatever, and like a really good documentary. But I became friends with him there, and he said, you should do WWE. And at this point in my life, or at this time, I had no idea what WWE was. So he said, I had no idea. So he said, do me a favor tonight, go home and Google these girls' names, the divas. Yeah. So I did, and I watched it, and I was like, I don't really like this, but it didn't speak to me, right?
Yeah.
But he was like, I really believe in you. I think you can go all the way. There's an audition right now in LA. Let me take you there. So I went to this audition, and let me tell you, I sucked at this audition, because at the time, for 7 years, I had done one movement, like from here to there. Yeah. Like that was my move. I was not an athlete in sports or anything. I had never moved my entire body. Like I went from a fat kid to an arm wrestler, so that's all I knew. So my audition sucked. I barely spoke any English. They were like, talk to the camera. And so I was like,
promo.
yeah, exactly. And I was like, my name is Sarah and I'm from Sweden. Like I just the basics, like, and like, I don't know what it was, but they called me and they're like, you got the job. When can you move to Florida? And I was like, holy shit. So I went back to Sweden and started my visa process and whatever. And about 9 months later, I moved to Florida. And I tried it out, and it was so hard for me. Like, even from like day one, when I stepped into the performance center, like I kind of knew in my heart that shit, I did the wrong decision. Like, because I had sold everything in Sweden. I put all eggs in one basket. I was like, let's just try this. If worst case scenario, I can always go back to Sweden and start over, whatever. But let me try this. And it was just not my thing. And for 6-7 months I was there, I just got more and more unhappy. Like I was just like, this is not for me. So I told them that I can't do this. I'm gonna quit.
Yeah.
But I met my now ex-husband there, so that's how I kind of stayed in Florida. And
you haven't left.
I haven't left. So
hey, sometimes good things come out of it. Same,
right, exactly. So it all worked out.
Happened.
Yes, it all worked out for the best. Like I'm so like blessed and happy to be living in Florida and in the United States, and I'm a citizen, and like I love this country. So
and I think the country loves you. But no, I knew from a while back that that you were signed to NXT, and I was like, I said I won't miss out on that opportunity. I said when I finally get to meet you, Sarah, and have a chat, I said I got to bring up. Not too fond on the name Shara though. I might have a chat with old Vinnie Mac and go terrible.
That was the other thing. Like I wanted a cool name at least, right? And they were like, they said come with some options, and I wrote them a list. Like, okay, this is kind of the names. I don't remember, but they took my real name Sarah and just put the letters like and made it Shara.
All they did was just move the H to the. They got so lazy. They may as well just call you Oliver. Like, it was so bad.
Yes, but like I was so disappointed with the name, and they would not change it. Like it was set in stone that was going to be my career name. So I was like, this is just another sign that this is not for me.
Shara. That's how I was going to address you, like when we jumped on the call before we went live, and I thought, nah, can't be rude. I'm going to say hello properly, but I was going to go, Shara, what is going on? Big fan. Love what you do. You just can't win with names. In wrestling, they just get lazy and they go, they're getting paid $500,000 in marketing.
Yeah,
oh, we got this Swedish girl, she's jacked and she's beautiful, we can make it work. What should we call it? Well, what's her name? Well, it's Sarah. Move the H next to the S. Yeah, great work. Let's go to the gym. Like, that's $500,000 a year.
Yes, that's exactly what it felt like. That, like, just move the letter around. Like,
and then it's like, cool. Oh, Mikey, I love you. Let's get married. That is awesome. Oh, ladies and gentlemen, can I introduce Mr. and Mrs. Mikey Oliver? No, wait. Olivia. Hang on. Can we try that again? Like, you just can't. Stick with Sarah Backman. And we're on.
Yep, easy. Yes.
Brian Johnson's very happy, just letting us know that he shows some of your stuff to his 9-year-old granddaughter. And inspires her.
Wow.
Throughout the thing, all my usual suspects in the chat, what Wolf's saying, that you're an inspirational role model. Ron the Don loves you. Everyone's being very respectful. Sari, the sweetie from Sweden. No, just for the record, she's still married to Mikey. When she first moved to Florida, she was married. That didn't happen, but show them the ring, Sarah. Put everyone out of their misery. Show them your wedding ring. She's still, there you go. Because everyone's lost their mind. They're like, what? Ex? She's single? Oh, and I thought my computer crashed. But everyone's great. What else? Can you do an Australian accent, Sarah?
I can't do any accents but my own. I suck, and that's why I failed so hard in NXT too. Like with the WWE, like I cannot make my voice or cool.
Yeah, you've got to be able to cut a promo, otherwise. I mean, I can't arm wrestle, but made it to king of the table. You've got to be able to talk. It's very important. But the other name, I'm not letting you off the hook yet. The other name, Spirit. Spirit, for those that don't know. And when I was a young whippersnapper, I absolutely loved this show when it was in Australia. You were on the Swedish version of Gladiators.
Yes.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I know.
Could have given you a Spirit, I suppose, back when you were on. I kind of get it, but it's the name of a horse. Yeah, it can be a cool word, but
same with the name.
What was that like?
It was so cool. Like, same, like you said, I grew up watching this show in Sweden. Like a little girl, year after year, I watched Gladiators, and I was such a big fan, right? And then it went away for a couple of years, and then in 2011, they announced that it would come back in Sweden, and they were doing auditions. And at this time, I was 18 years old, and I was in pretty good shape. I was on the top of my arm wrestling career. I was very active in arm wrestling, competing once, twice a month all over the world. But I was still like, all right, like if I can become a gladiator, like I will try to make this work with my arm wrestling. So I did the audition, and they said that we love you, but you're not made. You didn't cut it this year.
Yeah.
So I was kind of like, all right, well, it's not the end of the world. Like, I tried, fun, but I just was busy with arm wrestling, so I kept doing arm wrestling. The following year, same thing. They auditions again for the next season, and I did auditions, and I was in much better shape because I had like started to train slightly for it. Like I did a lot of athletic exercises. I wasn't doing only arm wrestling, in case they would get me or get me to the show. But the same thing happened. They're like, no, we already have our team, whatever. So I was like, all right, fine. So I went and did the European Championship, won, came home, and the next day I came home from World or European Championship. They called me and said, hey, one gladiator dropped out. Can you come here tomorrow? So it was like from one moment to the next, I packed my bag and went to the city where it was being filmed, and I did the show with no notice. While the other gladiators had a year or so to train, I had no specific training. So I was just coming from Poland and to the city the next day to do the show, and it was a crazy cool experience. I'm so happy I was part of it, but I was not ready for it. I didn't lose or anything. I won my challenges, but I just wish I was looking better, and I wish I was more prepared for it, looking back. But still, cool, very cool that I was part of it. Memory forever.
Is there any way we could see some footage? Do you have any? I just wanted to sit there and go, gladiator ready, and then they turn to spirit and you've got your thing ready. Yeah, that would be.
Yeah, I didn't love my name or my costume very much. And again, I didn't have any say so. Same with WWE. The production tells you what they want and you gotta just do it. I wasn't really happy with my costume or my look or my character. I was a ghost. So.
Oh, I'm sorry. You're a ghost. Oogie boogie, I'm gonna get you. I'm hiding in a closet or something. Gladiator ready, you jump out. Boogie.
I was like a sexy ghost, okay? So I still have my hair.
You're not making it any better. Quick, come here. Put this sheet over you. We're going to cut a couple of eyes. Oh, that's not sexy enough. Just cut a slit up the leg. Okay, gladiator, ready. Yeah. I have circled spirit 1,000 times now. I'm going to do everything I can to find out about it. Let's get to a couple of comments. Jamie Sheldon, superstar.
I love Jamie.
Yeah,
Hi,
it's
Jamie.
impossible to hate Jamie Sheldon. Says we respect big time. In Cali, Daniel Lester says, West Virginia. Love you. Now, I'm about to put a comment up, and I do apologise. Someone could be trolling me. They're asking me to try and speak some Swedish. And Henry says, Aussie, you should try talking some Swedish with Sarah. Du skal vinna lat om vin brotarm.
Wow, that was good.
Oh, so that's not rude. He's telling the truth here. It means you should win easily if we should arm wrestle.
Correct.
Du skal vinna lat om vin brotarm.
You speak very good.
Wow.
Swedish is hard. To pronounce it right, and you do it pretty right.
I'm pretty fluent. You are my fourth Swedish person on the show, so I'm basically Swedish now. So.
And you're going to Norway, aren't you?
Correct.
So that's very similar to Sweden. The language and everything is very similar.
Well, I hope they know English.
They do.
Yeah, no, they're great. Erling is been great. We've been on the phone. Very honoured. I sometimes just sit there and can't believe it. Like his last event, he had John Brezink, Engen Terzi, and all of that. And then his next event, he's just like, dude, want to come over? It's like, yes. Mm-hmm. I would love to come to Norway. Out of everyone that you could choose, So very, very honored. Very honored.
But what a long journey for you. Like, and I'm so impressed too, because you're like at all the events. You went to Dubai, like that's such a long, like 40-hour travel back and forth pretty frequently.
Sarah, Australia is a beautiful country. The one thing that's wrong with it, we live near no one. It is quicker for me to arm wrestle polar bears in Antarctica than come visit you. It was. One time I had a whole heap of delays and I flew to England and for an event, and that it took me 42 hours to get there.
Crazy.
To get there. Yeah, 13 hours from here to get to King of the Table. But that was direct, so I was pretty happy with that. Yeah, Norway's. No, I've got Arm Gods Island in January. That's 24 hours. Norway's 26. If I ever go to East versus West, that's 33 hours.
Yeah.
But it's better than having a real job. It's better than having a real job. Since February, I've been doing this arm wrestling thing full time.
That's so cool. Oh my God. Congratulations. Like that's huge. That's what an accomplishment.
Yeah, thank you. It's it's been a journey. It definitely has its ups and downs. And you know, when you rely on the public with like super chats and they buy your merch or whatever, you know, it's like when you first start out. But my wife and I were like, let's give it a go for 3 months. See how we go, and it's now been almost a year. So
wow.
But enough about me, Sarah. No one wants to hear about me. They hear about me 8 times a week. They want to hear about you. Henrik is pretty happy with the way I speak. Irving says I got lucky. I absolutely did. I got lucky pronouncing it correctly because I struggle to speak English. So Benji Mack says Aussie, the linguistic savant. Who else is in the chat? Just quickly. What else have we got? Muscle Bike. We'll get to questions like this a little bit later on in the show. I just want to talk about a couple more things, and then we'll do a bit of a Q&A about matches with Gabby. Hand Stuff is saying hi. Jake's titanium hip is in the chat saying late as usual. I have a titanium hip now, so just had hip surgery. First super chat. Hi, Sarah. Can you beat your hubby at arm wrestling? Says White Wolf. Does this cause problems at home, or do you just let him win to make things peaceful?
So Mikey is actually super strong. Like he is an athlete, been a fighter and things like that. So, and he's very tall and have a long arm. So with right arm, I cannot beat him, but I can. When I could arm wrestle before my injury, I could beat him with left. But he's super dominant with his right arm. Like he actually did an arm wrestling tournament in June, and he won undefeated his first ever arm wrestling tournament. Yeah, but then he got injured, so he was kind of discouraged to continue. So
fair enough.
Yeah,
fair enough, because it's I mean, with your guys' gym work and everything, and studying fitness and developing, like being in amazing shape, arm wrestling is no good for your body. Like the human body should not be doing it, but yet we've made a sport out of it, and we absolutely love it.
We love it. Yeah,
we love it. It's madness, right? You're a part of the inaugural East versus West Champions Night. It's become a big thing. You took on Arena Driver on both arms, dominated like we all thought it was. What did you think of the whole East versus West setup, and have you been keeping your eye on the previous mega events?
Oh yeah, like Engin has been a good friend of mine for 15 years. So when he reached out and said that he was planning to, because I was part of the first East versus West, I was very honored, of course, that he thought of me to be part of his new event, new production. And we were talking back and forth, and he asked me, "Are you ready for Gabby?" And I said, "No, And he asked, who else could you think of pulling? And I had been watching Irina for years. She's always been in the final with Gabby at WAF.
Yeah.
And apparently Irina had just given birth, and 1 month later went to the World Championship, and she kind of gave Gabby a match. I mean, Gabby beat her loud and clear, but it was a little bit like there was something there to show that Irina was strong, like had that real strength, the real power. And so I've always been curious to see like where I'm at, because I haven't been to WAF in 10 years. So she accepted the request, and super exciting. And I was so happy when I beat her, because that tells me that I have a say so in the world, in the top, you know. So that was a huge, like, all right, what I'm doing is good, you know.
Well, where would you rank yourself? Would you rank yourself number 2 in the world, number 3 in the world? Where would you rank yourself?
There's so many monsters now. Like the girl that Gabby has a match against in January in Turkey, Barbara from Slovakia. I haven't watched her for years too, and I'm curious to see what's gonna happen, because she's heavier than Gabby. She's always been in the super heavyweight. I think Gabby will win, but if Barbara win, I wouldn't be surprised, because she has been dominating the juniors, like the open category for years in the super heavyweight, and that's some strong girls. So right now, I don't know where I'm at. I've never beat Egle. Egle has always beaten me. So maybe I'm 3rd or 4th in the world.
Yeah.
I really don't know.
That's right. I'll dub it over, and I'll say Sarah proclaims she's number 1 in the world, and I'll just dub your voice over, and that'll get me millions of views. So don't worry about that. So you heard it here first, everyone. No, I think that's a fair thing. I mean, at the time, I reckon at East versus West, Arena was probably number 2 in the world.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, you beat number 2 in the world. A lot of people could argue that Egle was number 2 in the world, if not number 1, because Gab had never, just like yourself at the time, Gabby had never beat Egle. So, I think you three are swapping it all around. So then give everyone a bit of an insight. King of the Table call, you're ready. King of the Table 3 to pull Gabriela Vasconcelos. And congratulations, Gabby. If you watch this a little bit later, you just got married. So congratulations.
Yeah, I just saw that today. I'm so happy for them. Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah, so big congratulations to you, Gabby, on getting married. I'm sure you've broken a lot of people's hearts now that you're all snapped up. No, we absolutely wish you all the best. But phone rings, and you're pulling it. What's you mentioned earlier? You went all in. What's your mindset like? What is the difference in training for you to peak to have? Because you looked a different human being at King of the Table. And what I mean by different human being, by those that follow you on social media or watch your previous matches, and like the way you are today, you know, you're laid back, you're just enjoying life. And even when you're training with people, you have intensity, but it's a fun intensity. But when you turned up at King of the Table, you were unrecognizable. You were this arm wrestling robot that was ready to kill.
Yeah, so when they called, I had told myself that I was, when I got the opportunity, when somebody would reach out for this match, I would take it, because I was ready. And because since 2019, it had been like Gabby only in my mind, right? However, when they called in December, and in September, so like 3 months prior, me and Mikey had just bought a business, and we were slammed with work. Like we were so like busy with this business, and they called, and I was like, can't turn this down. So I had to manage, like I'm used to train 3 times a day prior to buying this business. I would I would have these marathon workouts and I would like live in the gym, and that was no longer my life because of the business.
Yeah.
And so it kind of shared time, so I had to train like after work. And whenever I trained as hard as I possibly could, and it was like all in. But I do wonder if I had trained like full time, if it would have been different.
Yeah.
But I don't know, because I see like people like Dave Chafee. He works a full-time job and he still dominates the world. So like, there's really no excuse, at all. But anyways, when I go all in, it takes priority, unfortunately, over a lot of things. Like family, and it just got to, for this time being, it's got to come first, or it's just no point in doing it. And it's hard, being newly married and to let them be part of that intense workouts and whatever. So it was a rough prep for 3 months, but I did it, and whenever the time came, I felt ready, and that's the most important thing. There was nothing. I didn't look back and think I could have trained harder. I trained as hard as I possibly could, so it was the best version of myself, and that's why I like respect and love Gabby so much, that I came that strong, and she still won. It's mind-blowing.
How frustrated were you? Because the matches were spectacular, but then, like at the just try to get my memory right, like at the end of the third round, going to the fourth round, it almost looked like momentum was swinging, but it was almost too little, too late. Because if I know it's a 6-round super match, but if that was a best of an 8-round super match or something like that, we could have seen the pendulum swing. You had something. How, one, did you notice that you had something? And two, how frustrating was it that it was in the end rounds?
Yeah, so I don't know if this is a fun fact or not, but I have never watched myself lose. Like I just can't do it. Like my videos, I never watched it. I never watched the 2019 match. Like if I get tagged in it, I immediately I just close the screen. Like I just don't watch it. It's like a knife in my heart. So I don't watch myself lose. So I haven't been able to analyze it. I've only been taking in feedback from what people have said. I do remember the first 2 matches. It felt like a iron. Like it felt like I could not get through it. And I went inside, which was a bad move, because I had trained my pronation so strong. I should have attacked more on the outside from the get-go. But I went inside, and it was just like stone. Like it was just, I could not move her, and she beat me or whatever. And then I remember I train a lot for endurance in practice. I practice nonstop for 1-2 hours, like without a break usually. So I'm used to the endurance part. So I feel like as the match went on, she got more and more tired, and then the freaking elbow fouls and whatever, I don't even remember. But yeah, it was frustrating knowing that it could have changed everything if I just had stayed on the pad, for example. I don't know. Yeah.
It was just millimeters. But if I were giving you the keys to the kingdom and I said, Sarah, right, 2023 potential rematch with Gabby, what date would you pick? And what time frame would you need? If everything just added up nicely?
Probably anytime between September and December. I just want to make sure that my left arm is back and I can train equally in my upper body. and so I can do my rope climbs and my pull-ups and things like that for a couple of months before I take on that. But later in the year, I would say.
There you go. There you go. Someone make that match happen. I think you two just need to tour the world and just have super matches all over the world because they're exciting as. I would absolutely love that.
I would love to just train with her. I keep thinking like maybe I should fly her here and like just train with her for a week.
If you're just handing out plane tickets there, Sarah, you know, the Aussie Armwrestler might come over. No, that would be awesome if you two could just get some behind the scenes table time and everything. But one of the main reasons, I'll get to your super chat in a moment. One of the main reasons why you have finally stopped dodging me, a lovely lady is in the chat at the moment. Magda K from Canada. That lovely lady, she ran We the North this year. She is doing it again next year in August, and she is just decided I've got to have Sarah Backman, Sarah Oliva, Sarah Oliver, Spirit, Shara, whoever turns up on the show. And you are having a rematch from your 2017 super match with Heidi Cordner. How did this match come about?
The funniest thing happened. I went to Dallas with Mikey. He was getting a tattoo. And
has he got any room left?
Not much.
No, he's even got the inside of his mouth tattooed.
yeah. No, it's like everywhere now. But yeah, no, it was funny. We were on our way home. We were in the Dallas airport shopping. And Heidi Cordner was like, Sarah? Like in Dallas airport, like it was just the coolest thing. Like out of the blue, we ran into each other and we talked for a little bit. And she had taken a break, you know, health issues and whatever. But she was finally healthy again, and she wanted to come back. And we were talking about potentially have a super match next year. And I thought it was just like loosely talk. Whatever, like sure, I'll have a super match, you know, whatever. And then Magda reached out and was like, "Hey, do you want to do it?" And I was like, "Hell yeah!" Like I love Heidi. I love Heidi. She's an amazing person, and I love to pull her. She's so different to my style, and I really enjoy arm wrestling with her. So I think it's going to be great.
That's really weird because, like, the text messages you sent me beforehand, Aussie, don't bring up that bitch Heidi's name up on the show. I will crush her. And yet, you say all these nice things. I'm getting no. I'm only joking. Only joking. I think it's going to be great. Heidi Cordner was at the last We the North. You guys had a super match in 2017. But in the arm wrestling world, that is a long, long time ago. And you're on an amazing card. I'm actually trying my hardest to get over there because
that'd be cool.
John Brink pulling Todd Hutchings. Who else was announced? Matt Mask versus Kalinachenko. John Terrian, who was in the chat before. He's pulling Kirsten Prodigy, which might be one of his first matches since his injury.
Yeah, Kirsten Prodigy is the guy that arm wrestled Mikey when we were in Texas. Yeah, he was there as a guest artist, and we flew there because we love his work. So yeah,
brilliant. That'll be good. We're going to get back to the Heidi match in a moment. Roy Baker says that last match with Gabby was super close. If it had gone another round or two, you would have won. She was gassing. It was thank you very much, Roy Baker, for your super chat. Yeah, it definitely was super close. I remember commentating it, and I was just like, whoa, if that just went a little bit longer, we would have got there. It's funny learning little tidbits like that because, Sarah, you won't watch any of your losses. I won't watch any of my content. I won't read. I think I'm the most annoying person in the world at times. And I'm like, oh, would you just shut up? You know, but I'm very lucky the arm wrestling world has taken me in. And
you're great.
Thank you. Hugo doesn't look too interested, though. He's just chilling at the back.
Yeah.
Gateway Arms had a question. earlier was asking, with your practices, can anyone, I forgot to put it up on the screen. Sorry, Gateway. Can anyone just roll up?
What does that mean?
So can anyone just turn up? Is it to your practice?
Oh, yes.
Invite?
Yes. Oh, anybody. Yes, it's free. We don't charge for it. It's just my way of giving back. I love the sport. I don't know, when I lived in Sweden, we had to pay a fee and rent and everything. I don't know. Do you do that in Australia, or do you pull for free?
Yeah,
okay.
We pull for free.
Okay,
we don't have enough people to charge.
Yeah, and there's been a couple of guys here in Florida that has practices at different gyms, and you have to pay a drop-in fee and whatever. And I refuse to do that. It's anybody, all levels are welcome. We'll teach you. We'll have a good time, and we'll go from there.
There you go, Gateway Arms. Right, back to the mega super match that is coming up. First of all, we absolutely love that you're back on the table. When will Peak Sarah start really hammering it down? Because it's still 8 months away. I mean, you could have a baby by then. My wife could have a baby by then. Still a long time. I hope my wife has a baby by then. We've got one. We want 10. But when do you just look at the calendar and go, right, Heidi, you're in trouble now?
I'll probably start in May. I usually 10 to 12 weeks out. I'll start to really dial things in. I just have to keep in mind too, I'm going to be in a sling for 3 months. So all of February, March, April, I'm going to be in a sling. So yeah, May is when I'm going to start light training with my left arm. Not that I have a match with it or anything, but it's important for the balance to get it back, But yeah, May I'll start to peak for Heidi.
Okay, so you're not a fan of Devon's pumpkin arm training, where you just only train the one arm and walk around lopsided?
Yeah, I think it's cool that you have the option in arm wrestling to do that, but I've always said that it's funner to win 2 golds, be champion twice instead of once, So I like to be even. I think it's important to be equally strong.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So then is it, so give everyone an update. Best of 5, best of 7, rules format. Have you worked all that out, or you've just said you're going to pull each other?
We just said we're going to pull each other. But that's a great question. I have not thought of that. I'll pull any style. I don't care.
Do you have a favorite style?
Yeah, WAF is my favorite.
Yeah, typical Swedish response. That's okay.
Yeah.
Hey, jeez. I was hoping you'd say WAL. That would really shake things up. But what did you think of the WAL system? I know you only pulled there once. You got injured. But what did you think of that whole system?
I think it's a great thing for our sport, especially since WWE is such a big thing here in the United States and all over the world. I feel like it was heading in that direction. I think it did good things for our sport. It's not my favorite way to pull though. I like the more professionalism about it, and I don't like to have people around me. I want it to be just me and my opponent.
Wow, interesting. See, I want people as close as possible. I want to feel the spit on the back of my neck when everyone's screaming. Very, very interesting. Very, very interesting. Magda's actually done a typo. She wrote best of 5, but she just texted me and said, Aussie, it's a typo. It's a best of 50. So you and Heidi, best of 50. So that'll be.
I would actually enjoy that. I like that. I get stronger the more I pull somehow. I don't know. I love it.
It's going to be amazing. I believe it's going to be pay-per-view. Heidi's looking to make it a mega event. And of course, my guest on the show, Sarah, is absolutely going to rock it. and she doesn't have to travel far, which is good. Canada's a lot closer than Turkey, Japan, Dubai, things like that. But us peasants have to fly coach and economy. Saw a couple of. I was sitting there, and I remember when I went to England, like I was saying before, it took me 42 hours to get there. I was on crutches the whole time, and then just before, I was just looking up some things, looking for some fun things to talk about. And you and Mikey just sitting there kicking back in first class, and I was like, oh, hey, some people. But you have earned it. What you guys have done and everything, it's not come from sheer luck. You guys have worked extraordinary to build a business, to build your profile, to be in incredible shape, because it's hard. It is a discipline. I've at one stage was 83 kilos, shredded, running across the country and everything. And since, having a wife and having a baby and hip replacement, I choose to diet poorly, and it shows. Hence why the camera only sits here, and I have to pretend to have your arms.
Oh.
People are still commenting about it, and I love it.
You're funny.
Look at that, eh? Do you want some, Shara? Do you want some? I will crush your spirit. Look at my arms. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the moment Sarah regretted coming on the show. She will
not at all. No, I have so much fun. Like, this is great.
We thank you very much. We are very, very excited that you're going to Pool. So please head over to Magda's channel, guys. Give us some support. She's doing more announcements and whatnot. And when it gets closer to the event, Magda, I'd love to have you on the show. We'll probably get Sarah and Heidi on the show so they can go back and forth, and we'll have a bit of a hit out. You're not big on YouTube anymore.
No. Nope.
Too busy, not interested. Because I remember, like, when I was getting into this, I type in everyone, you're up there, and you had your training videos, and you're having 170,000, 250,000 views, and then stopped.
Yeah, it was fun there for a while, but the editing is just not my thing, and I guess I can hire somebody to do that. I just didn't find anybody that could do it, and to bring a camera everywhere and to just document everything, it was just not my thing. I feel like I just don't think I'm interesting enough to showcase that, maybe. So, and the editing part, like, I would film maybe a practice for 3 hours, but then the editing took like 10 hours. And I would sit and, go back and forth, and I was like, no, too much.
Editing sucks. Sucks. But I betcha, if you sat there and your next YouTube video, Sarah Backman eats an apple, I guarantee you'll have 100,000 views. If you just spend 1 minute eating an apple, it's not whether you're interesting enough. Sarah, people just want to follow your career. Everyone's very interested in what you do. I mean, James Statham, the number one guy when it comes to editing, he's with Neil at Armwrestling. He does all the editing for Armwrestling. He lives in an editing room. And there's a part of him that's right. I love doing live shows because I don't have to edit anything. I can just talk nonstop. So it's it does. It does suck, but Rinzo loves apples. See, look at that. There's one view already for your next YouTube video. I'm telling you, people do want to see it, but yes, you're. What I'm understanding is when you do something, it's not half-assed. It's not 50%. It's all in. So if you want to do videos of you deadlifting 700 kilos or whatever you're up to now, because it's just the records just seem to go up every week. then yeah, you don't want crap quality videos. So that's
Right.
all right. Your next video can just be 1 minute. Whilst you're eating an apple, you can just tell everyone to subscribe to my channel. There you go. You can change my life. That would be amazing.
That's funny.
Do you have an ultimate goal right now? Like I said earlier, 11-time national champion, 8-time European champion, 8-time world champion. You've done it all in every single promotion. Is there now an ultimate goal for you in arm wrestling?
The ultimate goal, like I've always said it since I was little or younger in arm wrestling and all that. I've always said that at some point in my life, I want to be the overall best. Like I want to have that spot that Gabby has right now. I want to, even if it just lasts for a year or 6 months, like I just hold that title for once in my life, to be the overall best, that there's nobody in the world that can beat me now, no matter what weight. That is my ultimate goal.
Well, third place amateur. You can be number one all you want, but you've never won one of those. No, that's and it's good. It's good to hear at this stage you've still got that drive, you've got that passion, you've got the newly married Gabby in your sights. So absolutely love it. Whenever anyone comes on the show, they've got to play a game. It's arm wrestling's favorite game with my guests. It's called Pin One, Lose One, Get Rid of One. I'm going to give you the name of 3 arm wrestlers. You have to tell me which one you are going to pin, which one you are going to lose to, and which one you are banning from arm wrestling. You're saying ban, so no more for 12 months. No more arm wrestling.
All right.
So, I used 2 of these. I used your name for 2 of these. Actually, your name's been involved in all of them when these 3 ladies have been on the show. Fia Resick, Marlon Kleinsmith, and of course, your Mount Rushmore, Gabriela Vasconcelos.
Okay, so my option was pin, get rid of, and lose against.
And lose to one.
Okay. I would lose to Gabby.
Wow.
I'm just saying, like, this is so hard because I love all of these girls. They're my friends.
That's what makes the game so much fun.
Oh, goodness. I don't want to get rid of anybody, but if I would get rid of anybody...
Well, I can make it a bit easier for you. About it'd be almost 18 months ago, or 12 months ago, Marlon and Fia both come on the show together and played this game.
Mm-hmm.
And they both got rid of you.
That's funny.
They were saying the same thing. They're like, we love you, Sarah. We love you. You're just too good. We're going to get rid of you.
I would probably get rid of Fia and pin Marlon.
No. Can't believe I've just given you the opportunity to pin Gabby and you're not even taking it. Wow. Very, very interesting. Okay. Love it. That's what makes the game fun. Guys, before we get to some of your questions and wrap up the show, I've got some quick fire questions for Sarah. You're not allowed to think at all. First thing that comes to your mind, you've just got to answer it. Do you prefer super matches or tournaments?
Tournaments.
Are you a fan of the King's move?
No.
There you go. What's your favorite promotion and favorite country to pull in?
WAF and Poland.
WAF and Poland. Poland. Interesting. Who's your toughest opponent or most annoying opponent? Like they just might have a long lever, an awkward hand.
Egle have a very big awkward hand. Uncomfortable.
Egle. Nice one. Are you okay with Mikey being the most hated man in arm wrestling?
No. Mikey is the best. Everybody loves him.
Oh, everyone loves him. It's just, everyone really loves you here. And the majority of my viewers are male, and they kind of hope that they are Mikey. If that makes, that's why I say I pretend he's the most hated man in arm wrestling. What's the most expensive house you've ever sold?
The most expensive house I ever sold was
Because
800,000.
600,000,
$800,000.
800,000. Because imagine turning up, everyone. Sarah used to be a real estate agent or a realtor, I think we call them real estate agents here.
Yeah.
Imagine turning up and, this big, massive arm just hands you, buy this house. And you're like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't really want it. Buy it now.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever asked someone for a contract?
I feel like I have. It's so long ago now, but I feel like I have done a lot of, it's been coming up in closings and stuff.
It would be awesome. A couple of more questions. If you had to choose one, would it be gladiators or pro wrestling?
I would say pro wrestling.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, the ultimate thing for me now. Oh, you're going to hate me for this, Sarah. If you ever come to Australia, I'm going to book you in a pro wrestling match.
Are you?
And you are going to be the evil ghost, Shara Olivia. That's it. Are you going to come out in the world's worst ghost uniform?
Oh my God.
Literally, I'm going to find a bed sheet that we're not using, and that's how I'm going to book you here in Australia. That is awesome. Last question. What would be the one thing you would change in arm wrestling?
The one thing I would change in arm wrestling would be to make it as big for women as it is for men. So if you, last year, for example, I went to this competition and they promised 10 grand for the winner for the men and 3 grand for the women. So I went and I won, but they never paid me. Yeah, but the winner, Dave Chafee, he won 10 grand, but I had to fight for 5 months to get the 3 grand that was promised for the women. I hate shit like that because I dedicate my life just as much as the guys for this sport, and I wish it was treated equally.
Well, just guessing with this, was this rhymes with Schmolympia?
Yeah.
Wow, it took you 5 months.
Yeah, of constant calling, emailing, texting, and they were like, well, it wasn't that big of a turnout, but don't put the flyer out there. Don't promise the payout to be this. I closed down the businesses for the day. I went there. I trained for it, in case somebody would show up. No, they would not honor it. But they paid the $500 and $1,000 for the second and the third place. But they didn't pay me the first place. I have no idea. I hate shit like that. I don't get it.
Have you been paid?
Yes. Now, yes. It took 5 months.
5 months.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Wow. Oh, I'm glad you have got paid. What do you think it would take? I find this conversation topic interesting. What do you think it would take to get to that level where you turn up to Schmolympia or a big tournament and they say 10 grand men, 10 grand women, and you both have 30, 40, 50 people in the bracket?
I'm just thinking, if Olympia, for example, announced 10 grand to the female winner, I'm pretty sure Gabby, the girls from Sweden, Barbara from Slovakia, I'm sure people would fly and buy, get there for, let's say, 3-4 grand and for a chance to win 10. I think so. I would.
Yeah.
So,
What? So is it just money alone? But what do you think it would take to get? Because here in Australia, we just had our national tournament. We maybe had 10 ladies pool, you know, and so we could only have 2 divisions, an over and an under. What do you think it would take to get more women on the table? Like, I had Sarah Latona on the show the other day, and you know, we were trying to speak of some names for the pool after she beat Rebecca, and like you said earlier, there's not that many.
Yeah, it's hard. Like in Sweden, for example, it's being mass produced, girls from early age. Like I was one of them. We just look at arm wrestling as a cool thing. Like it's a cool sport. Like you're cool if you do it, right? Here, it's not like that. You're being looked almost down on, I feel like, in the United States. Like not down on, but it's like you're weird.
Yep. I got laughed at on national TV when I told people I arm wrestled. I was on a game show and I told people I arm wrestled and the crowd laughed.
Wow. Yeah, see? So I don't know what it is, different cultures, different how you're being raised. I don't know, like, but here the women are not supposed to be strong, I guess. You're supposed to be, I don't know, a weak stay-at-home mom. I don't know what people expect from women, really, you know. But in Sweden, like you're a badass. If you arm wrestle and you beat the guys, like you're being praised. So, you know.
Oh, yeah. Interesting. Very, very interesting. Well, there you go. Guys, quickly get in some questions. I'll try and pick out some good questions because I've probably gone a little bit longer than I should have for a very, very busy Sarah Backman, a.k.a. Sarah Oliva. If you want to pronounce her last name properly and get in her good books, Oliva, and do that. That would be awesome. ECEC says that Sweden respects more women in the sport. Angelo saying it's definitely not right that they didn't pay you what they said, but listen to Ronda Rousey once about the same issue in the UFC. You're kind of like our Ronda Rousey, I reckon. Your arm wrestling's Ronda. No, sorry, retract that. Ronda Rousey is UFC Sarah Backman. My apologies. My apologies. How dare I? How dare I? Anyone got any last questions? Megatron says, Sarah, what was your best easy bar curl heaviest lift?
Bar curl heaviest lift. I think for a strict curl, my best ever was 125 pounds. Like for a strict EC whatever. On a preacher, I don't know. I don't know actually on a preacher with the EC curl bar. But my best ever lift with a dumbbell on a preacher is 95 pounds for 1 rep.
Oh, I thought you were going to say 95 kilos. I thought, wow, I knew you were strong. I didn't know my numbers were wrong. 95 pounds is super impressive. Yeah, there we go. Ryan Sample says, I'd love to see you compete in these big events more. We definitely want more Sarah Backman on the table. Do you follow any other sports, Sarah, says King Hoddle?
No, not really.
No, probably too busy.
It's just arm wrestling.
Too busy and build an amazing career. Andrew Davidson says best deadlift.
410. It's not that impressive. Like I'm not like for my weight. Like okay, I'm not a power lifter, but there are some girls that are like lighter than me that pulls way heavier than me. So like I'm yes, it's mediocre. It's okay, but it's not like.
So are you saying it's mediocre to deadlift 2.5 times your own body weight?
Yes.
Oh, what? I reckon that's brilliant. I reckon that is brilliant. Guys, we will wrap the show up there. If everyone can please give a big thank you to Sarah and keep an eye out August 12th August 12th. It is happening. Sarah Backman is on the table against Heidi Cordner. Head over to Magna's channel as well for more and more updates about the matchup. Sarah will be very, very happy. It's a best of 5. We're trying to push it out to a best of 50. Maybe Magna can meet us in the middle. Sarah, thank you so much for finally stop dodging me and coming on the show.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I'm super happy to be part of it, and I'm like finally. I know it's been years, so
way too long. Everyone's saying goodbye. Guys, please support everything that is Sarah Backman. I'm sure you're all following her socials, and we will see you next time.
Bye, guys.